on this map, and so we're trying to take it out. Right now there's only 2 players on screen, but you can see a lot of NPCs fighting each other. In most games, NPCs are all just sort of standing around waiting for you to kill them. In our game, they're always doing something. There's a war going on, so they're fighting that war. They're programmed to fight each other. They're programmed to seek out and hold control points. They're patrolling. They're ambushing. They're always doing something. They're never just sort of standing there. You'll also notice that as Victor's been fighting, he switches up his weapons. And one of the things we borrowed from shooters is that there's no best weapon for the game, or even the best weapon for your class. There's the best weapon for the situation you're in. And for instance, if you're attacking a group of a group of creatures, you're going to want to use something like a flamethrower or a machine gun, something that hits multiple targets at once. If you want to pick off single targets, you want to use something like the rifle or pistol. And even though this has got the front end and the pace of a shooter, it's still a role-playing game that's hard. Your character gains experience, builds up levels, invests points in skills, and those skills then determine what kind of weapons I can use, how good I am with those weapons. But then we've seamlessly mixed some real-time elements too, like whether I'm standing still, whether I'm running, whether I'm walking, whether I'm crouching down. All those things factor into it. In addition to the different weapon types, all the weapons come in different damage varieties, and those are everything from cryogenic to incendiary to poison to electromagnetic pulse to laser, and those are all linked to gameplay as well. So if I'm fighting a robotic creature, using my poison grenade launcher isn't going to do me much good. So I want to switch to my electromagnetic pulse rifle, and vice versa. If I'm fighting something organic, an EMP isn't going to do me much good, so I want to use my poison. We're also trying to make it so the creatures aren't just what we affectionately call attack magnets. That they all have interesting behaviors associated with them. So there's healers. There's that big stalker that they just fought. It's got a variety of area effect weapons that it will use if you don't take it out quickly enough. So you want to maintain distance from him. And things like the shield drone that are spawned with squads of enemies, and those protect them and make it harder for them to hit. So you want to try and take out that shield drone before you're taking out that squad, because it'll make it easier, faster to take out that squad. Again, trying to create a bunch of different strategies that the creatures use. Now Victor's kind of muscling his way up this hill. Oh, and he just uses lightning bolts. And in addition to like traditional weapons like rifles and machine guns and things like that, you have these alien powers that you're granted by the good guy aliens who've kind of been wiped out by the bad guys. Another example of strategy involved, this guy's got most of his weapons and sensors on the front, so you want to get your buddy to distract him while you're attacking him from the rear. Anyway, Victor's kind of muscling his way up here. We learned from one of the NPCs that the factory is just over this occupied hill. If we had a little bit more time, we could have gone on some side missions that would have freed up more reinforcements, opened up some landing pads, so those drop ships that swooped in would have dropped off more NPCs on your side. Again, multiple solutions to the problems. Now we've found the factory. Unfortunately, this boss creature has dropped in our way, the Juggernaut, and he has a variety of attacks that he uses. If you maintain this distance, he's going to use one of his mortar barrages, and as soon as you see that go off, you want to run away from the place you were standing because it's targeted there. So then you're going to want to go like, okay, well, I don't want to maintain range. I want to get in close. Well, if you do that, then he's got a debuff weapon that he'll use against you. That'll weaken you, take you out. So you kind of have to vary where you are fighting that guy. Too close or too far away. Mix it up. Again, various strategies that these guys use. That's the debuff attack right there. So once we're able to take him out, we'll be able to get inside the base. And what we learned from one of the NPCs that we talked to earlier was that the front gates to this base are locked, and so we need a key. Well, conveniently for demo purposes, it's hidden under the front mat. So Victor just picked up the key. Now he's going to unlock this laser grid door. And this is just an example of some of the object interaction you'll participate in these instance spaces, where it isn't just a run and gun, and you actually get to interact with the environment much more like you would find in a single-player game. And all these instance spaces are linked in an overall story arc for the planet. For instance, the planet we're on right now, Forius, is a forest planet, and so the story arc is about the ecology and environmental damage, and you sort of learn about that as you're playing through it. Richard Garrett's the executive producer, so he feels very strongly about telling stories like that. While we're running through the base, I want to have multiple versions of my medic. So I've got my medic who's more geared towards assault with a little bit of healing, or the guy who's mostly healing with a little bit of assault. You can see Victor's been picking up loot as he's been going along. The creatures drop everything from ammunition for all your different weapons to different weapons, and the rarity of those weapons depend on the difficulty of the creature you're fighting. They'll drop pieces of armor, etc. Players can also manufacture weapons and armor or modify weapons and armor, but all the crafting in the game is combat oriented. You're not going to be making any chairs in this game unless those chairs happen to explode in interesting ways. So now we've found the machine that the NPCs were talking about. You can see the zombies are kind of filing out from the machine and going to the teleporters out to the front line, part of the army of the bad guys, the Bang. And so what we learned was there was a weak point in this machine, and all interactive objects in the game, monitors, key panels, etc., can be targeted just like a creature. So Victor's going to explore this machine and try and find the piece that he can target, which he's now found, and that's the fueling capsule. And now he's going to take that out while his buddy is protecting him from the guards. We happened to be a little too close when we blew it up, so it did a little damage to us. Now we're going to turn in the mission. Tabularasa is very mission driven. We never want the player wondering, where do I go next? What am I going to do? Instead, we want them thinking, well, which of the many missions that are available to me should I take right now? Again, and this is where you earn the bulk of your experience. However, you do get experience from killing creatures as well, and teleporters. And we believe that it's a lot of fun to explore maps the first time. But after that, going over the same bit of territory just to get from point A to point B isn't necessarily fun. So what we've done is scattered throughout the maps are these teleporter paths. And as soon as you find one of them, it's automatically added to your network of teleporters. And that way it allows you to instantly move from one part of a map that you've already explored to another. So now we're going to take the teleporter to the main human outpost on this map. Again, this is a shared space. You're going to encounter other players at random here. We're going to move out to the front lines. And Victor is actually running over towards a control point. And these control points are scattered throughout these shared maps. And these control points are linked to variables in the environment. Things like where you respawn when you die, what missions are available to you, what shopkeepers are around.